Hello. If you are a top performing, successful single woman who desires to be married to an amazing man, yet have been criticized for your so called high standards, then this video is definitely for you. My name is Jamila McMallow, and I am the number one love and relationship coach for top performing women over 35. And I want to encourage you to share this video, to share this live stream, share it to your stories, message it to a friend, because I know you have at least one, two, three, maybe more friends who need to be listening in on this particular topic because standards are hugely important. Now, if you're with me live, please let me know in the chat if you're able to hear me. And if you're watching the replay, let me know so I can know that you were here. Also, if you're watching me on Instagram, please follow. If you're watching me on LinkedIn, please follow. If you're watching me on YouTube, please subscribe, please like, and let's get into it because I am a firm believer in having high standards. And what we're going to be talking about is 3 ways having high standards protects you when you're dating. Okay. So, the first way that having high standards protects you is it allows men to self-select out. So what does that mean? It means by the way you carry yourself, by the way you communicate the things that you share about what you're looking for, what you want, what you don't want, men are able to kind of get a feel for, okay, do I want to do this or do I not? And either they're going to respect your standards and say, great, you're not for me, and go on their way, or they may try to stay and push against your standards and get you to compromise or lower them, which is actually a red flag. And I know that you have experienced this in the past because there are some men who, because of the type of women that they have dealt with, and these women are not women who are not successful, who are not all the things, but they just have some areas within themselves where they're not feeling necessarily worthy or questioning their own value. And so these men are like, they can sniff it out. And so sometimes we can claim to have high standards, but our history or past record of relationships would probably reveal that that's not necessarily true. That if the man says the right thing or does something, then or puts the pressure on them, then we're willing to kind of move and compromise. And the next thing you know, well, was it really a standard? So this is why it's so important that you have it set so that a man can self-select out. Or if you notice that he's trying to push against it, trying to get you to compromise, then you know right away, he's not for me because he's not respecting something that is important and valuable to me. He's trying to get me to do what he wants. And that's not the kind of relationship you're about to get into. Okay. Now, the second reason why, or the second way high standards protect you is that they help you to learn quickly whether or not you're truly compatible with someone. So it is not necessary, because my clients are typically women who are in their late 30s, 40s, little over 50. At this stage of your life, you know who you are. And so it doesn't take 6 months to a year for you to figure out if someone is a great fit or not. It doesn't take all that time. It most certainly does not. In fact, I'll share a little bit with you about my own story. My husband and I, when we started dating, from the time we met to the time we were married, it was less than 6 months. Okay. So from the time we started dating to the time we were engaged, it was only 2.5 months. So yes, I was engaged in less than 90 days and then married like 2.5 months later. And we've been married, it'll be this year, 10 years. And at no time have I said, man, I needed more time, or man, I wish I had known him better, or any of those types of conversations in my head because of how intentional we were about our dating. But the fact that I was able to make that determination very quickly that he was a contender, that, okay, this is my blessing, this is what I've been praying for, this is husband material, is because I was very clear on exactly what I desired, on my standards of what it is that I wanted my relationship to look like, on what I needed in order to be happy, in order to thrive in a relationship, etc. Okay. And so because I knew that, I was able to look at that and pay attention to the things that he was saying and doing and know right away if he was on board with what I was looking for. And because I was ready in that way, I was prepared. I knew what I wanted. It became very apparent very quickly that he fit the bill. And of course, I believe in God. You may not, but that's my belief system. So I was praying this entire time. And so by me being clear and specific, I was able to see, okay, this is exactly what I've been praying for. But not only that, he exceeded those standards and expectations. So that's a beautiful thing too. Now, this is important to know in advance because just like you bought a car, I know you've bought a car. When you go to the dealership, you don't just show up and say, oh, whatever, you have, I just want to look and see what you have on the lot. Maybe you've done that before. But if you're serious about a specific type of car that you want, you already know what features are important to you. Like, okay, I need cruise control. I need power seats, power windows, heated steering wheel, whatever. You know exactly what it is that you want as far as the features in the car. So when you get to the dealership, if they're trying to show you a vehicle that ain't got cruise control or ain't got, heated seats, you're like, well, that ain't the car for me. Sounds like you need to go back out there and find me what I want. It's the same thing when it comes to dating. If you know exactly what you're looking for, and by features, I don't mean, oh, I want them to be tall. I want them to have this type of job. I want them to live in this kind of a community, this house. No. We're talking about on an internal level, his character, his qualities, his way of being, his morals, his values, his sense of responsibility, his degree of kindness, thoughtfulness, his relationship with God. How does he treat his mother? These are the things that are your standards. How does he communicate? Okay. How does he treat women in general? That stuff. Those are your standards, not, this superficial basic stuff that anybody can have. There's really amazing, wonderful men of good character that have a lot of money. And then there's a lot of men with garbage character who have a lot of money. So if your standard is simply that a man just needs to have a lot of money and you think having a lot of money somehow that is the differentiator, you're confused. It is, how did he come to accumulate that money or wealth? And who is he being in as a steward of that wealth and that money? That's the part that matters, because that's going to tell you whether or not he's going to end up being a good husband, whether he's going to be a good father, okay? Whether he's going to be a good friend, a good partner for life. Because somebody can be a great businessman and a terrible husband. Yes, there's lots of wealthy rich men who are divorced. So you want to be clear on what he is in here. Okay, these are the standards that matter. And you've got to be clear on that for yourself up front, so that when you're dating, you're able to get down to business very quickly and know whether or not this isn't going to work. Okay. Now, the third way that having high standards protects you is it helps you to maintain your self-respect. Because I know that you have had at least one relationship in the past to where you claimed to have certain high standards or certain standards, and it seemed like this guy met your standards in the beginning, but you kind of started moving the line and you started compromising and shuffling around, and then it was all said and done. You carried some shame and guilt out of that relationship about some of the things you agreed to do, engage in, or accept or tolerate. And so when you have a high standard, you protect yourself, you protect your dignity and your self-concept, your self-worth. You protect your relationship with yourself, because you, at the end of the day, have to continue living with you for the rest of your life. And what you don't want is to be spending all this time beating yourself up, dogging yourself out, calling yourself, oh, I'm so stupid. Why to do this? Why to do that? No, that's why you have a high standard and you don't lower it. Okay. The man who is for you will be happy to not just meet your standard, but to exceed it. He's going to say, okay, that's it. What else? Because here's the part that I want you to know is that a man who's looking for a wife is not looking for someone that he can manipulate or get to do whatever it is that he wants. That's not the type of man that you're looking to marry. There are men like that, but the type of man that you're looking to marry, he's looking for someone who is going to bring value into his life, because he recognizes that he has some inherent value that he's going to bring to your life, but he is looking for the woman who's going to come into his life and complete him, who's going to allow him to elevate to the next level of where he wants to go. Not because she's driving him or pushing him or any of that. No, simply because of her presence, her being. in his life, her completing him, now allows him to evolve into the next version of himself. And he's doing things he couldn't have imagined that he would be doing as just a single man. So that's what the man you're looking for, he's looking for a partner. He's looking for someone to build with, to grow with, to create with. He already has, but he wants to build and grow more. And he's looking for a woman that can handle all that. And I know that's what you're looking for too. You're looking for a man that also has, because you yourself, as I said in the intro of this video, you're successful. You got the house, the car, the money. You go on the lovely vacations, the girl trips, all of that. You have that. But now you've reached a point to where you're like, great, I've done all this stuff alone, but now I am ready to step into the next chapter of my life and find the man who I'm going to share it all with. I want to share my life with someone, but not someone who ain't got nothing, someone who also has, so we can come together and create more. Okay. And that's not an unreasonable expectation at all. And so this last way, or this last key, protecting yourself, I just want to iterate, drive it home one more time, is so important because second to your relationship with God is the relationship that you have with yourself. All right. And that's why it's such a key component of the work that I do with my clients, because it really is the root of all the other relationships that you're going to have, is how you see yourself, how you value yourself, how you treat yourself, because you teach people how to treat you. And you're not going to teach anyone to treat you better than you treat yourself. And a lot of that has to do with what's going on in here. Okay. So now let's review these three ways that high standards protect you. So number one, they allow men to self-select out. Green flag, he respects your standard and goes on his way. Or he says, okay, what else? Because he's like, ooh, I like this. Okay, now what else? Because he's looking for a wife. Okay, he's looking for a woman who holds herself in high esteem, high value, not just because of how she looks, but because of who she is and how she moves and her reputation in the community and her reputation at her job or in her business and how she's showing up, and her presence in his life is going to elevate him in everything that she touches. Okay, that part. The other reason why, when you it allows men to self-select out, is because it will reveal to you a red flag, which is a man who is going to try to push against your standards or boundaries. If you don't have any, then you won't be able to recognize the manipulation or the pressure when it comes. Okay. Now, the second way to review is you'll be able to recognize whether or not you two are compatible, because you're going to show up and know, this is what I'm looking for. Okay. He doesn't match that. And again, we're talking about on a character level, qualities, traits, ways of being, the things that actually matter and are the foundation of a successful long-term marriage. Okay. And the third way is your high standards are going to allow you to protect yourself, your self-respect. They're going to keep you from doing things and agreeing to things that you're later going to feel guilty and ashamed for. Okay. And every time you do something that leaves you feeling guilty and ashamed, it chips away at your confidence. It chips away at your worthiness, because you start to believe that now I can't ask for what I desire in the next relationship because I've been so diminished by this relationship. And so I want you to know that that's not true, and that's going on in your head. And so going forward, you're going to have these high standards so you don't repeat that behavior. All right. So if you are a top performing, successful single woman who desires to maintain these high standards so you can attract a wonderful man into your life to become your husband, then I want to invite you to a very powerful masterclass that I'm holding on February 14th. Okay, that's next week. It is my Ready for Your Husband masterclass, because I know you said, I'm ready for my husband, Jamila. I'm done. I got you. Okay, because I'm going to be revealing to you the top 3 secrets that every high-performing, successful single woman should know if she wants to attract the love of her life and build a relationship leading to marriage. So if that's you, I want to encourage you to go to, let me put the little the ticker across the screen here so you can see the website. It is readyforyourhusband.com. Go to readyforyourhusband.com and you can register for my masterclass. Like I said, it's going to be next Wednesday. I'm very excited about it. Cannot wait to be there with you in this really private, exclusive VIP type session. where I'm going to be able to coach you right on the spot, answer your questions, give you some powerful questions to ask yourself so you can experience a mini transformation. And it's just going to be, you don't want to miss it. You want to be there. If you're really serious about being married this year, next year, you want to be in this room, okay? Because it's not for a lack of trying that you're still single. I know that you've done a lot of things. I know that you've read the books, been to therapy, maybe did a dating coach, maybe did a program, one of those self-study courses. You've done all the things. That's what you do. Okay. But the reason why it hasn't worked is because it's got you pretty much still in that DIY state or energy. And I know for a fact that if you could have done it on your own, you would have already done it. You're not a person that don't know how to win, how to do stuff. And so it doesn't diminish that part of you. It doesn't diminish the fact that you are successful. It doesn't diminish the fact that you have figured out so many things on your own, that with this part of your life, you just need a little help. It's really not your fault. Okay. There's a whole lot more to the picture and to the story and how we've been conditioned, and even in school and all that stuff, as to why it seems like these days single people can't seem to come together. So we're gonna work on that. We're gonna get you started off on the right foot so you can receive the husband that you have been praying for. All right. So I want to thank you so much for being here. Make sure again that you like, follow, subscribe, comment below. Let me know that you're here. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you next time. All righty.